Ripple XRP. So shots were fired at Brad Garlinghouse, and the reason as to why this happened is because Brad Garlinghouse mentioned that Dogecoin had no utility. Now we're going to take a look at what the Dogecoin founder responded. We're also going to have a look at the standard, which is the ISO 2002022. We have a recent development in relation to the Fed now. We also have some US regulation for stablecoins and what Brad Garlinghouse has said in relation to this, as well as some specific Ethereum ETF deadlines that we have. So we're going to see each of the issuers, for example, like Valkyrie, and when their deadlines are for the potential approval or rejection. And finally, somebody has now called out Elizabeth Warren for her remarks regarding money laundering in cryptocurrency. Of course, we will be looking at the price action for XRP coin today. All I ask from you are two things, which is to smash that like button and to subscribe to the channel as well. Before we have a look at the first piece of news in relation to Brad Garlinghouse, if you just have a look at crypto bubbles, we are in the green for everything. Now, whilst we are not up, really high, we're just essentially pulling back up from when we saw that pullback yesterday, and Bitcoin is now at 40.2k. Yesterday it was actually at 38k, so it was able to increase by 2k, seeing a bit of green and a bit more momentum. So what happens with this? Well, Brad Garlinghouse essentially said that in terms of cryptocurrency, we have to establish those cryptocurrencies that actually have the technology, real world utility, real world use cases, compared with other cryptocurrencies that are essentially meme coins. Now both of them have their benefits. As a retail investor, you can hold utility coins for the long term, and you can also trade meme coins on the daily or even weekly. And this was actually covered in the Crypto Basic article, and he says over here that Bitcoin and Doge are similar in essence, with the minor difference being in ticker symbols. And essentially after that comparison that he made, the Dogecoin founder said, this is like saying I totally get the euro but the yen is nonsense. So he's trying to say that the euro is important but the yen isn't, which doesn't really make sense, because obviously both of those currencies are important. And Brad fires back saying, I understand the point you're making and agree with the point in some ways, but a more apparent comparison would be the US dollar to the Zimbabwean dollar, which obviously just hits a nail on the head. And you'll see that Billy has actually taken down his response at the time of reporting it, and so it seems like as if that kept him quiet. But it is very important what Brad has said. Yes, Ripple XRP obviously has that technology, but the amount of things that XRP can do and how much adoption that can actually take place around the world is just insane, right, compared to these other meme coins. But we're comparing it at a different level. It's the same thing with the utility coins versus the non-utility coins. I still think that both of them have a place in the cryptocurrency market, and they don't understand that different coins offer different utilities, and I think that is what we need to establish going on forward. I think we'll establish that in this year. We have obviously many use cases, and Ripple have been working with these major banks, have been granted licenses. There is so much that Ripple have achieved so far just in the span of a couple of years that we've seen and noticed, and I think that will only grow as we go forward. So ISO 2002022, very significant update. I mean, we've not had one of these updates for a while now. It says over here on the PCBB that it is to be implemented all at once, March the 10th 2025. Now I know that a few of you might say, hold up, we already know this information, but it is just to give you these specific dates that we have, because I know some people have just been putting out the year 2025, and if you think about it, it is only 1 year and a couple of months left. And it says over here that the Fed recently announced this, and it will be all implemented within this date. And today, more than 70 countries have already adopted ISO 2002022. So it's not only the US, we also have China, India, Japan, and Switzerland. And cryptocurrencies have been quick to embrace this standard, and several are already compliant. Again, with this, we can't only just say that Ripple is compliant, because we have other major players. So we've got Algorand, Hedera, IOTA, Quant, we have Stellar, and XDC Network. Now, I definitely know that quite a lot of my viewers are holding HBAR, they're also holding XLM, and a few of you may actually be holding Algo. So there are a lot of benefits when it comes to this technology. And we know that in terms of these coins, not only are they ISO 20022 compliant standard, but they also are very low in their transaction fees, they're cheaper, and that is what essentially makes them stand out. And it says over here that though March 2025 is still more than 2.5 years away, and this is because the article was posted way before, back in 2022, financial institutions should be actively gearing up for its adoption. And I think that is exactly what they're doing. They're going ahead with this migration. They are all actually actively involved in this, and I know JP Morgan have mentioned it on their website as well. And so they will obviously be rolling this out. I know we only have that 1 year left, as I just mentioned, but still it's definitely going to come around very fast, and faster than you actually will think in terms of that. So if we have a look over here, this is Brad Garlinghouse talking about the US regulation for stablecoins. As we know, XRP is planned to be a stablecoin, but we don't know when it actually will be. Let's just take a look at what Brad has said in relation to this.
It's a great point. I want to get your take on what the CEO of Circle said. He says he sees a strong chance that the U.S. passes laws for stablecoin issues this year. Brad, tell us about the stablecoin and the potential looming regulation there.
So I think the regulation there is appropriate. I think it is the priority on Capitol Hill. I've spent a bunch of time in Washington, D.C. The U.S. Treasury, I mean, stablecoins, 95+% of the market of stablecoins is the U.S. dollar stablecoin. You have Tether, you have USDC. And I think the U.S. Treasury wants to see that those laws passed, and I think they will be pushing Congress to act. And I think that's good. That's forward progress. There are new dynamics of what stablecoins mean to financials kind of settlement. And so I think the CEO, Jeremy Allaire of Circle, is correct that that'll probably happen the first half of this year. Today, there are the off-ramps through typically exchanges like Coinbase that are very good actors, where I think you are able to enforce these kinds of regulations.
So with the stablecoin bill, we know that they're trying to get passed. I think Jeremy Hines is one of the people that is actually behind the bill. And I think that it will be a very important development when we see that stablecoin bill pass. I think it's absolutely vital for the US. It's going to be like another catalyst, for example, like what we have with the Bitcoin halving. This is essentially something that the Federal Reserve need to be passing, because again, it reduces that volatility because you have that stability with it being pegged to the US dollar. So from Chad, we have this post. It's actually quite funny. It's actually referencing to what Max Keiser has said. It says over here, as I've been saying, the decision by the government to shut Ripple XRP down was made long ago. I'm not quite sure if that's true. Gary's job, number one, is to shut it down. The law is whatever the government says it is. In this case, XRP go back to 1 cent. I think he is the most bearish on XRP. But the thing is, Gary is not going to be shutting down crypto at all. We've had the spot Bitcoin ETFs approved. I mean, whatever Gary Gensler's opinion is about cryptocurrency is irrelevant. He should be acting on behalf of the SEC. And obviously, in terms of what they approve and with their benchmarks, Gary's personal opinions shouldn't really matter at all. I don't think that XRP coin will be going back to 1 cent. That is just his bearish take. You can see over here that he is obviously very much for Bitcoin, and he has actually spoken about XRP in a negative light. And Chad has said over here that the government created Bitcoin and now we've come to take it all back. We will own all your mines too, just for fun. Consider buying a few shares of iBit. And also from Black Swan Capitalist with Max Keiser, they actually included him in an article. It says over here, the expert says XRP will crash to 1 cent, slams it as centralized garbage. And I'm not quite sure how he was able to derive that 1 cent price target. I mean, where's his technical analysis? Even then, I think it is very much just his own opinion, and I'm not quite sure what his background is, if he is, for example, a cryptocurrency expert or he has any sort of financial education. But it does seem like as if he does post things like this about XRP. But this is all of the negative light that you guys have to essentially move away from, because people are talking about XRP coin like as if it's something really bad. Yes, the price has been stagnant. Yes, it's obviously not going up compared with meme coins, but it's not like for like, so how can you even make that same comparison? And of course, my opinion is I think that Ripple XRP is definitely going to go far in the future, and with the technology, we are seeing so much utility, we are seeing so much more partnerships coming forward. And of course, with tokenization, it's a big thing. Ripple is already integrated into that anyhow. So there really is no reason as to why XRP coin should even be going to 1 cent in general. From Chad over here, we do have the Ethereum spot ETFs, and these are the specific dates that I thought I'd show you. He says over here that in terms of the issuers, Van Eck actually has the earliest final deadline, May the 23rd. They'll have to approve them all at once. Again, we should start seeing S1s being filed March soonest to mid-April the latest. And ETH already has futures just like Bitcoin did. The SEC is backed into an ETF corner. And in terms of coming out with an ETF, one of the conditions that the asset needs to have are futures, and Ethereum already has that. So if we take a look at all of the issuers, you'll see over here Van Eck 23rd of May, and then the day later we have ARK 21 shares. Now I think this might be the 30th. We have Hashdex, and then Grayscale is not until June 18th. And then for Invesco, we have 5th of July, iShares Ethereum Trust, we have 7th of August, and Fidelity Ethereum Fund, we have 3rd of August. So you can see they're pretty much more scattered compared with the spot Bitcoin ETFs. They're not all within the same week within that deadline, maybe around about a couple of months out. However, we're going to have Van Eck first and ARK 21 shares. Both of these two will be coming first, and a couple of days later, we'll have Hashdex. So really not that long, guys, that we have for these potential Ethereum spot ETFs that we could be be seeing. Now, before we look at the price action for today for XRP coin, we finally have a senator that has actually called out Elizabeth Warren. Just recently, we have Senator Cynthia Lummis response to Elizabeth Warren, saying that fiat currency has laundered over $900 million compared to only 900,000 in crypto. Crypto is clearly not the problem, criminals and bad actors are. And isn't this what we have all been saying in the beginning? And isn't this the same with everything, right? Even when it comes to, for example, with weapons, it's actually the person using the weapon rather than the actual thing itself. And it's the same thing with cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency isn't inherently bad itself. It's obviously the people that are taking advantage to it. But it does have to be mentioned that fiat currency obviously has way more money laundering compared to crypto in general. So the price action for XRP coin, we are trading at 0.5165. We are up by 1.99% on the 1-day chart after we had that dip yesterday. We have actually climbed up. For the volume, we are down by 10.58% and we're trading at $1.1 billion. Now, if you'll see over here, this dip that we had yesterday to 0.4975, I actually thought we could potentially be retracing back to 48 cents, but I wanted to see where it would go, and we were able to bounce back from there and go to that 50-cent level. Now, you'll see over here that we actually went to 0.5181, pretty much not too far off from where we are now. On the 7-day chart, we are down by 9.54%, so still a pretty big drop. A couple of days ago, we were trading at 0.5522, so we were at that 55-cent level. We are obviously 3 to 4 cents away from that as of now, and despite making that low yesterday, we are seeing that a little bit of recovery, and I wanted to see XRP coin go to that 53 to 55 cent range. That is where we were able to be comfortably before. On the 1-month chart, we are down by 16.42%. Again, we've taken a massive hit for XRP. It's not been in our favors for this month at all. I mean, a nice little high that we actually went to on the 11th of January was 0.6165. We are 10 cents away from it, so obviously a massive drop from where we usually were. But let's see if we can get back up to that 53 to 54 cent range. Guys, if you want daily Ripple XRP coin news, subscribe to the channel and like the video as well.